Hi, I'm Barbette, and if you read my social media post the other day, you know that we have a unusually large astrological energetic event coming on Monday, April 8th. So first of all, go read the post, you'll understand. What I want to talk about today is the solar eclipse and why it's a big darn deal. Many people just think, okay, so what? It's an eclipse. We get them every once in a while. But they are really significant for us. Not just because it makes way cool pictures or we get to wear way cool glasses, and I will have a video about these next, but I wanted to talk about how the eclipse and this moon passing over the sun and providing a partial or total darkness for just a few moments, and then passing away from the sun, and how that affects us energetically, and what opportunities we have for it to affect us even more. So if you think of your body like a computer, and this hour or so that the sun is being visited by the moon, like the moon is in this process coming over, during that time, it's like you're telling your computer it's time to power down. So you're closing windows, you're closing pages, you're closing apps for that entire hour going into this eclipse. Things are powering down. It is a great time for us to think about the things in life that we would like to change or transform, or perhaps release and let go of. Then, during the time that the sun is in the eclipse part or totality, it is that time, like with the computer, that we've powered everything down and now we're turning it off, and it is at rest. For us, those 3-4 minutes of time in that eclipse are our opportunity to be at peace. So for the first hour or so, you're looking at the things that you would like to transform, to release, to get rid of. And then in the eclipse part, you're at neutral. I am releasing, I'm off, I've let go, now just here I am. And then when the moon is heading away now from the sun, that is our time to be thinking to ourselves, now I am integrating and giving myself this new way of thinking, this new vibration of being, since I've let go of those other things. So it really is not just put the glasses on, look up there and go, woohoo. It's really an opportunity for transformation and change. So now I wanted to talk to you about something else I would think that is fabulous to do during the eclipse. So some people will meditate, some people will get out their rocks and crystals and put them out for cleaning, and other people will listen to music, other people will go to big parties and just have such community and fun and really get into the glasses. But there is an opportunity for us to use the eclipse in a huge, more magnificent way. Have you ever heard of a labyrinth? Okay, so I'm going to give you one of the views of a pretty normal labyrinth, something like this or something like this, and I'll talk about those in a minute. But a labyrinth is different than a maze. A maze is meant to confuse you and provide lots of stops, and you go and you're like, wow, okay. But in a labyrinth, there is one way in and one way out. So in a labyrinth, you are going in and you are following the path. And in this following of the path, you are providing balance to the right and left hemispheres of the brain, but you are also, if you're using the labyrinth well, you spend a moment or two on the outside of the labyrinth. this is what we call a finger labyrinth, and I'll explain that in a minute. But in the ones that are out in the ground, or paves, there's just so many of them. Look on the internet and you'll be amazed. So many different designs. Some of the ones that I love most are the ones that have flowers guiding the path, so you're in wildflowers, or the one at Young Living has lavender all around it. So it's one way in, and you get all the way then into the center. So the way in is like the moon coming over towards the sun. The standing in the center is like the eclipse. And then the going out is like the moon crossing away from the sun. With a labyrinth, you can read about them, there are books written about them, but the basic technology of how it works for us, the basic science is, when you stand outside of the labyrinth and you set your intention for what it is that you would like to release or transform or have a spiritual gift or an awakening, whatever it is that works for you, then you walk into the center. In the center, you have the peace, the calm, the I have let it go, or I have welcomed a change. Okay? This is very prayerful. I'm telling you, it's very prayerful. There are multitudes of ways to do the standing in the center. You can face each of the 4 directions. You can say a prayer for family, for self. There's lots of ways you can do that. But if we are doing this part a few minutes before the eclipse, and we are in the center during the eclipse, then when the moon is crossing away from the sun, that is when we go back out the same way we came in. And it is then that we are integrating this new change. So if you have the opportunity to visualize the eclipse while being outside at a labyrinth, I highly recommend it. But if you do not, then get on the internet and pull off one of these images. This is one that I found that is interesting, it's intriguing, but it also has one way in, so you follow and you go through all of these into the next one, and then you reach the center. In the center, you have that opportunity to be at peace, and then you go out the same way you came in. So there's no confusion, there's no which way do I go? So that is one I found on the internet. This is a 7 circuit. It means it has 7 pathways to the center. It is one that I find very peaceful because it has the balancing of the right and left hemispheres of the brain going on in here too. My absolute favorite is the 11th circuit. And in the 11th circuit, you are in there for a while. We have a beautiful one down in Cincinnati. There's a couple here in the Dayton area. They're all over, and they're all made differently. Lots of them follow this pattern or the 7th circuit. The purpose, though, is the setting of your intention and the letting go as you walk into the center, being in the center, being at neutral. And then when you are walking out, this is the integration of how am I going to be now that I've let go of these things. So there's a lot more to it. It could be, but as simple as using one of these with your finger or a pencil. And so holding it down, let's use the bigger one, holding it down like this, or towards you would be easier, of course, and following the pathway nice and slowly with your finger, and using it as a moving meditation. You're very focused on, gently focused on, where am I going, what am I doing, but you're not looking ahead because you're following the path. So I could go on and on about this, but I just wanted to share how important this eclipse is for us as a human living being, the opportunity to use it for transformation, spiritual change, whatever you like, but use it. Don't just be like, oh, it's an eclipse, big deal. There's not going to be one in the United States again for how many years? I think it's 20. So now is a really good time to use this as an opportunity to integrate both parts, doing the labyrinth with the eclipse and using a journal maybe to write what your experiences are, and enjoy.